What's up guys, welcome to EJ2 Track Rats YouTube channel. So today we're going to be talking about pulling AEM data from my 1993 Honda Civic race car. The AEM data logger that I'm running is a CD5 carbon dash, and I'm going to be pulling my GPS, accelerometer data, yaw, roll, pitch, all those kinds of things from the dashboard. We're going to be putting it into AEM data and we're going to be analyzing it. In the process, we're going to talk about some of the things that went well, some of the things that could have gone better as well, and how we're going to do it in the future. Alright, so pulling data from the AEM dash is really super easy. So on the back of the dash, there is a mini USB port. These mini USB ports on these AEM dashes come weatherproof, so they're sealed off. They have a little screw type connector that goes around the outside of the micro USB cord, and you screw it on, and it has a gasket, and it prevents it from getting any sort of moisture into the USB port, which is great for a race car when your windows are open and you're driving in the rain and you don't want to damage any electronic components. What I did for now, and this is temporary, is I took this cable right here that AEM sends you. In reality, you can actually take this cable and you can mount it up here, you can mount it here, and so when you want to pull data from the dashboard, you simply just route that cable to where you want to put it at. Your data engineer, or yourself if you're poor like me, comes to the car and plugs in wherever you put that data port at, and you put it up to your laptop. When you turn the key on, it syncs up to the laptop, assuming you have the software installed. You download it to your laptop, and it's super easy. That's how you get the data from the dash. This is the plug right here. It's a mini USB, and as you can see, there's threads on it, and there's a little nut on it, a little plastic nut. And you take this nut off, and you can clamp it to anywhere on the car, and there's a little plug, and you can put it up top, you know, and that allows you to plug your laptop into it. One thing that we said is we're going to go over some lessons learned. We're going to talk about what went really well and what could have gone better when we were putting the system into the car. So let's go into that a little bit. So as you can see, this dash is mounted with a very thin gauge steel. So I actually took a piece of a washing machine that I had that was broken and cut it apart and made a bracket out of it that mounts here so that I could keep my turn signals and my wiper stocks without making any additional cables. And then I reinforced it with these brackets back here. The problem is there's still some movement. So what I'm thinking is that I need to mount this somewhere more solid, and I might actually have to take off these beloved turn signal and windshield wiper stocks to make it work so that the accelerometer data is more accurate. Now, as I mentioned, I am running a lot of data to this dash. Well, not a lot, but I am running a decent amount of data to this dash. Some of the data comes from AEM supplied gauges. So right there I have an AEM air to fuel ratio gauge, and then I also have an oil pressure gauge. Now, the cool thing about these AEM gauges is those gauges interface directly with the dash. So they have outputs on the back of those gauges that can plug into your HON data if you're running HON data, your AEM Infinity if you're running AEM Infinity, Motec, whatever you want, and they can also plug into this dash on CAN bus. So one other thing that's really cool that went really well is I talked to AEM when I was building the car, and I said, hey, you know, one thing that would be really cool to have in this car is your CAN bus module. And so down there, that's the CAN bus module. You can see it's a 22 channel sensor CAN bus module. And one thing that I thought went really well with this car was the mounting of this CAN bus module using rubber isolators. The power supply block to the right that you see there, it's kind of shabby looking, but it works very well. And the placement of where I mounted it. I had no issues with the vibrations. I would do that again. Maybe again, just go to a thicker gauge steel. The last piece of the install that I want to talk about is this VDM module. Now this is called a vehicle dynamics module, and what it does is you mount it to the middle of the chassis and it senses roll, yaw, and pitch. So what does that do for you? What does that do? So, and you'll also see on the back of that there is a little cable. So that cable at the back of that VDM actually goes to your GPS. So the GPS is mounted all the way back there, and obviously it's taped to my roof, but one thing that I would like to do better in the future is mount it to the actual top of the roof. I taped it to the roof because it was quick and easy, and I needed to get to the track day so I could test the AEM gear out. Now, one thing that I like about the mounting is I spaced it out from the trans tunnel, which I really like. So if you notice, it's hovering, right? So there's my fire bottle in the way, but it's hovering above the trans tunnel. Now I spaced this out with washers. One thing that I could have done better is I could have used rubber isolators there. Okay, now the spacing looks really great. It clears the handbrake perfectly, which is really good if you're in paddock, or, you know, it's good to have a handbrake when you're loading it on the trailer and stuff. And, you know, I could remove it, but I didn't want to, and so it clears the handbrake perfectly. I have no issues with it. I really like how it's elevated. It looks awesome. Even the edges are pretty good, and I cut all of my stuff out with cutoff wheels. Again, I would probably go with a thicker gauge steel, but one thing that I also like about the mounting of the VDM is that you can pretty much solidly mount this with double-sided tape. So I actually did mount it with double-sided tape, but then I also took zip ties to make sure that it wouldn't move from the plate itself. But overall, I think for a last-minute installation, it's pretty clean. It will get updated. It will get upgraded with time. You know, this was kind of put together last minute for track day. But I am happy with the stuff that went on down here. I'm happy with the mounting of this 22-channel CAN bus module, and I'm very happy with the VDM. I just need to upgrade everything to a thicker plate. Everything needs to be a thicker gauge of steel. Yo, what's up, guys? Stick around. I'm going to post the second video where we look at the data from my data logger, and we talk about what kind of insights I could glean from reviewing data from my track day at New Jersey Motorsports Park Lightning course. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.